President Trump's second term begins with a mixed bag, a surge in Republican unity contrasted by growing economic anxieties. Despite matching his peak approval rating, a new poll reveals voters' unease with the economy, mirroring levels seen during the Biden administration. Trump faces unprecedented disapproval regarding his economic stewardship, particularly concerning tariffs and government restructuring, leading to market jitters and questions about his focus on voters' core concerns. This economic uncertainty sets the stage for potential clashes ahead, as the administration's policies are met with skepticism from key sectors. Now let's get into the next topic. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is under fire for his handling of the Mahmoud Khalil case, a Palestinian activist detained following student protests at Columbia University. Rubio has refused to disclose evidence justifying Khalil's detention and green card revocation, admitting the decision was based on Khalil's role in negotiating with the university during anti-war protests. Rubio equated these protests with anti-Semitism, sparking outrage and raising concerns about free speech rights. This controversial stance has ignited a debate over the limits of dissent and the government's power to deport individuals based on political activities. The next story continues on the topic of political controversy and social unrest. Nationwide protests erupt against Elon Musk and Tesla, fueled by Musk's role in government cost-cutting measures and proposed IRS downsizing. The Tesla takedown movement, initiated by prominent figures, urges a boycott of Tesla products and stock. Demonstrations have drawn hundreds, reflecting growing discontent with Musk's policies. Attorney General Pam Bondi's vow to crack down on vandalism against Tesla adds fuel to the fire. This escalating conflict underscores the intersection of politics, technology, and public sentiment, as the next story will further explore the economic impact of these trends. Wall Street is signaling a sharp rebuke of President Trump's economic policies, triggered by tariffs, government layoffs, and immigration crackdowns. The S&P 500 has entered correction territory, with the Dow and Nasdaq following suit. Investors are fleeing to safe haven assets like bonds and gold, reflecting a loss of confidence in Trump's agenda. Concerns mount that his policies could severely damage the economy, despite initial market optimism following his election. The market's downturn coincides with Trump's threats of tariffs, indicating a direct correlation between policy announcements and economic instability. As the market reacts, the president faces accusations of corruption. That's next. President Trump escalated his attacks on the media, accusing news outlets of illegal and corrupt behavior during a speech at the Department of Justice. He criticized news coverage of Judge Aileen Cannon, alleging bias without providing evidence. Trump claimed that media outlets are political arms of the Democratic Party, further intensifying the conflict between the administration and the press. This raises concerns about the erosion of trust in media institutions, but the market seems to be recovering despite the political turmoil. The details are next. Despite a Friday rally, U.S. stocks ended the week in the red, with the Dow posting its worst week since March 2023. Market volatility was fueled by President Trump's trade war, causing jitters on Wall Street. The S&P 500 and Nasdaq experienced their best single-day gains since the U.S. presidential election, but the indexes still posted their fourth consecutive week of losses. This roller coaster week underscores the market's sensitivity to trade policies and their potential impact on economic stability. As the market attempts recovery, the new health secretary is making waves. More on that next. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is drawing criticism for downplaying vaccines, targeting food additives, and promoting unproven remedies. Public health experts worry that his actions are undermining trust in federal health agencies and could lead to the spread of preventable diseases. Kennedy's early moves have sparked controversy, particularly his stance on the measles outbreak and his endorsement of unproven treatments. While his office defends his actions, concerns persist about the potential impact on public health and safety. Next, we turn to international relations, as the Secretary of State denies any trade war. Secretary of State Marco Rubio denies the existence of a trade war, contradicting Canadian Foreign Minister Melanie Joly, who accuses the Trump administration of engaging in one. Trump's threats of tariffs and comments mocking Canada have further strained relations between the two countries. The diplomatic clash overshadowed the G7 meeting, highlighting the turmoil caused by tariffs. Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, asserted that Canada will never be part of the United States. The next story explores the impact of these policies on the housing market in Washington, D.C. The D.C. housing market is showing signs of strain due to mass federal layoffs, with active listings up 56% compared to last year. Inventory gains in the region have accelerated, driven by both new listings and slowing buyer activity. The median list price in the D.C. metro area is down 1.6% year over year. The rise in inventory could also be due to newly built condominiums and townhomes coming on the market. Other federally employed markets could see similar shifts in the coming weeks or months. The next story looks at how Trump's policies are boosting stock markets overseas. While Trump's policies are causing economic uncertainty in the U.S., they're boosting stock markets overseas. Increased military spending by NATO allies, spurred by Trump's pressure, is fueling shares of weapons manufacturers and powering European stocks to their strongest start in decades. International stocks are outperforming their American counterparts, highlighting a divergence in economic trends. The next report will focus on grocery store prices. Trump's tariffs are poised to hit consumers' grocery bills, with price hikes expected on imported produce, fish, and meat. Items sourced from Mexico, Canada, and China will be most affected. Larger grocery chains may be able to absorb costs, but smaller ones may struggle. Consumers are already adapting to inflation by shopping at cheaper retailers and spreading out their purchases. Next, a look at the factors affecting Tesla. Tesla's stock has plummeted 36% in 2025, driven by flagging global sales and Elon Musk's political activities. Musk's wealth, which propelled him to global influence, is tied to Tesla's shares. Decreasing sales in Europe may be attributable to Musk's political stances and increasing competition from Chinese electric vehicle maker BYD. Next, we'll examine the impact of Trump's trade war and funding cuts on farmers. Farmers are facing steep losses due to Trump's trade war and funding cuts. Farmers are struggling to find markets for their products and are facing the risk of steep losses for the year ahead. Many farmers feel betrayed by the cuts and tariffs.